Hugo Ekitike. Hugo Ekitike. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome to your latest Chelsea transfer news. Look, we are all still elated. We're all still jovial. We're all very, very happy and excited. The fact that Chelsea Football Club, we are back into the Champions League. And rightly so, we should be. We've missed out on Champions League for the past 2 seasons, and normalcy, it's back. Being back into the Champions League is just being normal again. What we do from here is the most important part. Are we going to bolster the team? Are we going to upgrade the team the way we should be? This is the question, ladies and gentlemen, that most Chelsea fans are thinking about in the fan base, that what are the owners, the sporting directors going to do in this upcoming summer window? We need a striker. We perhaps need a far more robust winger that can score goals, that can produce goals. We perhaps need a centre back and a goalkeeper. Maybe we could do without one of them for the time being, but there are just some important business that needs to be done. And if we don't do it the right way, we're going to find ourselves in the same issues, the same mess that we found ourselves this season. Now, as you can see, Hugo Ekitike, striker position is the most important position that we are looking to upgrade this season. And majority of us are thinking, now that we've made it into Champions League, go and get yourself a top level striker. We've got Nicholas Jackson that we're developing. Go and get an experience, either Victor Osimhen, Gyökeres, Victor Gyökeres, one of those two, and we can be cooking next season. We have a team that's fairly good. It just lacks in certain departments. Now, we're not going to go for Osimhen. Too expensive, too much wages. Victor Gyökeres, I'm not sure what the go is over there. Is the age the factor? Is the wage factor? I don't know. He's not on the biggest wages at Sporting Lisbon, Club de Portugal. What seems to be the problem? Why is Arsenal linked with Gyökeres? So anyway, look, ladies and gentlemen, Hugo Ekitike is a big possibility at Chelsea Football Club. And the thing is, we might not stop there. We might be going for Ekitike and Liam Delap, ladies and gentlemen. That's the latest. Let's just quickly go through what Simon Phillips is saying before we get back to the Ekitike news. Chelsea after 2 strikers this summer. As reported on the site months ago, Delap and Ekitike the most worked on. Sesko there. They're contemplating moving for Osimhen again. Look, I hope that's the case. I know his wages is mad, but you get yourself Osimhen up front, it's game over. With the players that we already have, with Osimhen up front, we're going to bag a lot more goals. Plenty of work going on, situations changing daily. Chelsea want at least one new striker for the Club World Cup. Wow, Club World Cup's just around the corner, and we want a new striker before that. Okay, let's kick things off. This is the latest, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Johnson. Chelsea are keen on signing Hugo Ekitike, but valued at £84 million. Payment structure could be variable. Delap and Sesko, amongst others, being considered. Look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm some sort of Ekitike expert. And I know our scouts last season did a madness with Omar Dion and John Duran. So I'd have to reserve my opinion to a certain level. But I have to say, from the clips that I've seen of Ekitike, and I know he's done very well at Frankfurt. Mamouche was there as well. And both of them did extremely well at Frankfurt. But he reminds me of Jackson. I don't know what the difference is between Ekitike and Jackson. Both are quite mobile. Both are, they like to carry the ball. They like to dribble. Both have pace about themselves. But we need a striker that is dominant in the box, that can have extremely good heading ability. People are saying that Ekitike is a very good header of the ball, but we need someone who's going to be able to hold up the ball. Sometimes we want to go long. Someone who's going to be able to leap up and hold the ball up and attract the other players and bring them into the play. We need someone who's very good in terms of footballing IQ to make the right decisions in the final third. We don't need another young developing striker. As I said, we're developing Nicholas Jackson. We don't need another developing striker. So this is why I wanted Osimhen or Gyökeres, because they're experienced. They know exactly what to do. And both of those players, I feel like Victor Gyökeres probably might fit a bit better in Maresca's system because of how mobile he is. His physical, his shooting ability is excellent. His shooting technique is fantastic. Osimhen, proper targetsman, but he works hard. He presses well. He works off the ball like a dog. So I can see how that would work for Enzo Maresca as well. And the amount of crosses that we want to put in, hopefully Reece James can be fit and he can find those crosses to Osimhen, plus Pedro Neto as well. The inverted crosses that he does on a regular, Osimhen would be a handful in the box. But Hugo Ekitike, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. I think this is who we're going for, because Fabrice Hawkins, if you guys remember, not that long ago, literally about 4 or 5 days ago, he put this tweet out saying that Chelsea are damn serious about him. And Fabrice Hawkins, when it comes to French news, and Hugo Ekitike is French, background, he needs to be taken seriously. Fabrice Hawkins. This is what he had to say. Chelsea target Hugo Ekitike. The striker and Frankfurt agreed to complete a transfer if the interests of all parties are respected. Frankfurt wants between 80 to 100 million euros. I think that's too steep for someone like Hugo Ekitike. I can understand if it's something around 50 million, but 80 to 100 million? A lot of people are saying there's add-ons, obviously. Maybe it's 60 plus 20 in add-ons or whatever the case is. But even then, I feel like this is too much for a developing striker. There's rumors that Liverpool are also chasing Ekitike. So is there something about this player? Could he turn out to be the next big thing? Some people are saying baby Isak. I don't know. Several English clubs have approached the player and the club. Among them, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea. The Blues' interest is high. Paris Saint-Germain will have 20% of the capital gain maybe made by the German club. So maybe that's why, Frankfurt wants to make their portion, because there's obviously 20% that needs to go to PSG as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about Hugo Ekitike. As I said, I'm not going to pretend that I know a lot about him. I don't. But from the clips that I've seen, what's the difference between him and Nicholas Jackson? And look, if it's between him and Delap, let's just get Delap, at least someone I know from the Premier League. I know a lot of you guys will say, "Miss, that's not how transfer market works, just because you know someone from the Premier League." But Delap is done well in his first fully fledged season with Ipswich. He's done extremely well, and Delap would be fantastic. But the word is, ladies and gentlemen, that we're looking for both. If it's both, I don't know how we fit all of them in. I know we've got a lot of matches that's coming up next season: Champions League, Premier League, domestic cups, obviously Club World Cup. We apparently want a striker at the Club World Cup. I don't know what the future for Nicholas Jackson looks like, so we shall see what happens. Chelsea have held positive talks with Liam Delap. Delap is expected to inform interested clubs of his choice this week. This kid everyone seems to want him. Chelsea, Man United, Newcastle, Everton. This is the list. Liam Delap has spoken to 4 Premier League clubs and is expected to decide on his next move in the coming days. Chelsea, Man United, Newcastle, Everton were the recent one. And apparently he's very impressed by the pitch put for Everton. I've recently said on social media, from Ipswich, look, my man, you've got a bit more development to do. Don't just jump into a big club where the demands are high, the expectations are high, and you could be overwhelmed. I think Everton could be a right one. A lot of people are saying him going to Everton eventually might price him out and he might be stuck there for a while. If there's an opportunity to go move to a bigger club, do it right now. Different perspectives. But look, I feel like his eyes are set on Man United. And he said that he wants to wait to see who makes Champions League football. Well, we've made Champions League football, but I don't want a player that is set on his sights on a club. And I feel like his sights are set on Man United. Man United really want this player. Rasmus Højlund, throw him in the bin. Delap, Cunha, they've already got. might turn out to be a nice move. But as I said, big club, big expectations. Is Delap ready? I don't know. But Newcastle's there as well. Newcastle are in the Champions League. Isak is not moving anymore. Maybe they want to add Delap on top of that. Isak does pick up the odd injuries here and there, and they're going to have a lot of matches. Delap will definitely get game time. So Delap is a man that is well sought out at the moment. Everyone is going for him. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. Would you want Liam Delap? As I said, I want experience, man. I don't want to mess about next season. I don't want to get back into the situation where we're fighting for top four again, and that's it. Always fighting for top four, and always just squeezing in the Champions League. We want to be able to compete in the Champions League. We want to be able to compete in the Premier League. We need to start becoming serious once again. But look, if you get both of these players, Ekitike and Delap, I don't know. Maybe that might be fine. And that's the latest that Simon Phillips is talking about, that we're going for two strikers. Where that leaves Jackson, going to be interesting. Next up, Brentford keen on signing Ben Chilwell. More on the website tomorrow. This is from Simon Phillips. Ben Chilwell, obviously, his time's up. He's picked up a FA Cup at Crystal Palace, so kudos to him for that. But Brentford been interested with Ben Chilwell. London club. He's obviously going to have to take a pay cut. Maybe he's up for that. And perhaps he might do well under Thomas Frank over there. If Thomas Frank does stick around, maybe he might still stick around with Brentford. But Brentford will lose quite a lot of key players. Mbeumo, I think, will move on, and Brentford will need to start looking at replacement. But Mbeumo, I don't know how you replace a player like Mbeumo. He's a very, very good player. But then again, we said the same thing when Brentford had Saeed Ben Rahma. How are you going to replace him? They did. How are you going to replace Ivan Toney? They did. Same thing with Mbeumo. Their scouting is very good. I'm pretty sure they'll do a fine job. Already, I think they're after a player at Brentford, and Wissa is obviously doing well. He's probably the next one that's going to move from Brentford. But Ben Chilwell to Brentford, let's see what happens there. Ben Chilwell needs to move on, and that might be a good club for him. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Enzo Maresca stressed to the excited Chelsea players in front of him that after a campaign where they had been written off for being too young and inexperienced, they had proven a point. This had nothing to do with the age of the footballers, but with having the right mentality, quality, and toughness. Look, big up to Enzo Maresca. There's a lot of us that doubted that we could make top four. Forget about top five. We could make top four. We finished fourth. We're in the Champions League. 100% there was doubts, not just from in the punditry area, but fan base like myself. I just thought that these players, do they have it in them? Do they have the mentality? Do they have the confidence to get their job done? And they did. They definitely grew in mentality. They've definitely matured, and they've definitely showed immense confidence in their ability. In this final phase where we just lost a match against Newcastle, but before that and after that, it's been very focused performance. Yes, there's been some performances that haven't been good, but right at the end, it didn't matter about how good the performance was. Results were far more important. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to just quickly show you guys what has taken place earlier today. Make sure you guys don't miss out on any of this. If you've missed out on All You Can Eat Chelsea earlier today, that's the latest episode. It was a banging episode. There was at one stage 2,000 people live, so do give that a watch. That was a special All You Can Eat episode back into the Champions League. The lads were there. Give that a watch. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the latest on Miz TV Total Football, the latest video is out, which is this one, the latest transfer news that's popping off. Obviously, the main news right now is Matthias Cunha to Man United. That was a here we go. That was a done deal over the last 24 hours, but there's many more news in that video in regards to Florian Wirtz, Ait Nouri, Marcus Rashford, what his future looks like, Xabi Alonso, Real Madrid news, some Bayer Leverkusen news with Eric Ten Hag. So do give that a watch as well if you can, and subscribe to Miz TV Total Football. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash up the like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section about Hugo Ekitike and Liam Delap. Do you want both? Do you want Neither. Do you think this is a good move? Or you want experience at Chelsea Football Club? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time, everyone, take care. See ya. Goodbye.